This is take 3. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. We'll see. Alright, that's not terrible. So I really liked Leisa the Tarot Alchemist's idea of taking the drive home from work. Or hers was like from the grocery store, I think, to give us a better idea of where you live and what kind of surroundings you have. And it's funny, hers really reminded me of my husband and I early in our relationship when the older boys were young. We lived in Prattsburg, which is like where she lives now, kind of that rural area. And now I live, this is not a city, this is kind of a suburb of Rochester. When I go to work, I'm about 10 minutes from my house though. So I thought this would be a good glimpse at where I live. And it's funny, one of the best things I had to say about living in Rochester is, or in the suburb of Rochester, is that we're notorious for not having very bad traffic, considering the size of city we are. I don't know if it's because there's enough places to work, like that are outside of the city, or if we just have, I don't know, figured out our roads better. I mean, obviously we're not like the population of LA or New York or anything, but we're like a mid-sized city. So that's the good thing, is even if I have to work in the city, which I do usually once a week or twice every other week depending, it still only takes me about 15-20 minutes to get there from my house, which is, you know, the suburbs. So even if traffic gets really bad, I mean, it's been horrible days where it's been an hour drive home, and that's like a lot. So I feel pretty lucky compared to, like, you look at Washington and Maryland and LA, obviously LA, excuse me, and New York and stuff. I feel pretty lucky. So if you pay attention to my driving, you will note that unfortunately I was taught how to drive by my father, who was a very aggressive driver. I went through a couple years about 10 years ago where I really was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore, because my type A part of my personality says I'm like screaming at other drivers and all that, and I successfully stopped myself from doing that. And I just kind of went, you know what, it's okay, in the long run it doesn't matter. Something happened when I moved back to the Rochester area from North Carolina, that I got all that back. So there are a lot of times that I am, other drivers just kill me, but I'm really, you know, trying to get back into letting it go, because it's not like, I certainly don't yell at other drivers where they can hear me 99% of the time, but I do yell inside my car, and I feel like that they should understand how upset and frustrated I am that they are horrible drivers, but I know that doesn't really help. So anyways, I wish I could you see off to the left here is this gorgeous sheep farm, and they have donkeys there, and last year they birthed a new donkey, and he was the cutest thing. I so want donkeys, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. For one thing, I know most of you know we have chickens, but we're really not supposed to have chickens. It is not zoned for us to have chickens on our street. We could probably get like a, you know, claws or something in it, but we don't bother doing that. For the most part, we kind of get left alone, because this is, like I said, it's a suburb, and so because of that, there are some businesses and stuff, and there's areas that are a little bit more built up. We have a Walmart and all that kind of stuff. We have a couple big grocery stores, Wegmans and rooftops and that kind of thing. But we also have, you know, a couple acres of sheep farm, and you know, it used to be a much more rural area than it is now. It just has gotten built up a lot in the last, you know, I don't know, 20 years probably. And there's a lot of kind of tract homes and that kind of thing. So I am grateful that we live, you know, my grandparents' house was built in 1944, and my entire family has lived there on and off for their entire lives, on my mother's side anyways. So it's kind of the homestead. It'll be sad when it goes, because I think Peter and I have decided that we probably will not be staying here in New York. And unfortunately, it just has gotten so the taxes out here are really kind of ridiculous. So this is the main drag between the city and the east side of the suburbs, unless you go on the expressways, the highways and stuff. And our house is actually right off of this main drag. It used to be much more rural, and I hate, a lot of you will know, there's an apartment complex that got built up right behind us. Ugh, took away most of my view. But so here's my street on the right. We live on Thayer Road. We live on this hill, so we go up this hill. Is right here. Yay! So this is my house. You can see all our little yard stuff, and then take this off. Try to. Ugh. So then over there, that's the big apartment complex. Ugh, that I just hate, but it's there for good. Alright, so I hope you learned a little bit about where I live. Thanks for watching.